As a college teacher, students come into my classroom, and like other teachers, I often assume that they already know their way around a computer and how to do things with the mouse and so forth. But lately, I've been teaching a lot of classes for first-time students who are coming in, and sometimes they get a little bit behind at the beginning because they're somewhat computer challenged and have no skills with a computer whatsoever. And so some things, some very, very simple things, such as how to select text, sometimes evades them, and they aren't quite sure how to get around and do that. So what I'd like to do is present right now 7 different ways. I said 6 techniques on here, and I since updated that to 7, so you can ignore this word 6. But just 6 methods to select text in Word documents that you'll find very helpful. Usually these will work in other text editors as well, and sometimes in other programs as well. So let's take a look at them. The very first one is the click and drag method, and this is actually the most common method, and this is just to select a contiguous piece of text of any size. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over here to a Word document, Microsoft Word. This is in 2013. You see that I've got my name in here as a header, and then I have some text in the body of this document. This is just taken from a news story, just copy and pasted from a news story. Well, let's say that I want to select Willie Gillis in Convoy right here. Well, I'm just going to put the cursor over where I want to start selecting. I'm going to hold down, press and hold the left mouse button, and then drag until everything is selected that I want to be selected, and then release the mouse button. And now you see I've selected Willie Gillis in Convoy. So that's the very first method. The second method is clicking, double-clicking, and triple-clicking. So let's go back for a moment to my document. I've already got this selected, so I'm just going to click somewhere else outside of it to release that selection. And now I want to show you what click, double-click, and triple-click does. Let's just pick a word. I'll just pick the word office here. If I click inside that word, I'm now ready to type. There's a cursor there, and I'm now ready to type between these 2 F's inside this word. If I were to type something, as you can see, it goes in between those 2 letters. But if I double-click anywhere over that word, you see that I've selected that word. And now let's unclick that or just unselect that by clicking somewhere else. And now I'm just going to triple-click over that word office. 3 left clicks with the mouse, and now the entire paragraph has been selected. It's actually looking for paragraph markers, which I can show you by clicking up here on the ribbon. You can see where the paragraph markers are, and it says everything between this one and this one will now be selected, and that's a triple click. I'm going to click outside of that now so that we can go on and see the next method, and that's the shift plus arrow. Let's go back into our document for a moment, and I'm going to do another double click over the word office. And if you look very carefully here, you notice that it selected the word office, but it also selected this space after the word office. And that's so if I delete it, there will only be 1 space between these 2 words. So it has selected that, but let's imagine for a moment, I don't want that space selected. I want to very tightly control exactly what I want selected there. Well, this is where the shift and arrow keys come into play. I'm just going to click outside of that somewhere. I'm going to use the right arrow button to get over to the very beginning of that word. Now I'm going to hold the shift key down and right arrow, and as you can see, I select 1 character at a time. And now I've got the entire word office, but not the space after the word office. Now I'm going to let up on the shift key, and now I've got that selected, and this way I have very careful control over exactly what I'm selecting. For the next one, we're going to do the margin click. Now the margin click is very powerful, very useful. Oops, I didn't do that correctly. There we go, back to my document. I'm going to click outside of this selection in order to deselect it. And what I want to do is, I want you to notice first that as I hover over these words, this sort of I-beam is appearing. And that I-beam lets me very carefully control exactly where the cursor is and where I select or where I click. But let's say that I move over to this right margin, and now you see that a right pointing arrow appears. And if I left click this line, or left click right now, I actually select just that line and only that line. Now let's click outside of there to deselect it again. And this time I'm going to click and hold the left mouse button, and I'm going to just bring my mouse down one line at a time. And you can see now I can select as many lines as I wish just by using this left margin. This is very handy, for example, if I have a title. Now there's no title in this document. This is a title. And I want to select just the title. Well, it's very easy to just go over here and go click, and I'm done. I've selected that title very, very quickly. And if I want to change the formatting, say, of that title, then it becomes very easy to do. Okay, that's the margin click. The next one is the click-shift-click. And this is a very, very powerful method. Let's say for a moment that I want to select everything from, let's say in front of this quotation and until the end of this sentence. So I'm going to click in front of the quotation with my left mouse button. And now I'm going to move over to the end of this text, and I'm just going to hold the Shift key down and then click again. Now, everything between where I put the cursor and where the mouse is currently selected or was currently over will get selected. So I can pick any contiguous set of characters here. For example, now I've got the R in original, and now I'm just going to include down through the M in museum. So I'm going to hold the Shift key, click again, and now I've selected just that text. So it's a quick way to select a contiguous amount of text. The next one is the select control select. Now notice I didn't say click, I just said select. And the reason is this. Let's imagine for a moment that I want to select Willie Gillis in Convoy and Rockwell Museum in Stockbridge. So I'm just going to use this click and drag method to select that first part. And now I'm going to hold the control key down and go over Rockwell Museum in Stockbridge using the left button and the drag method. And now I'm going to release the control button and release the mouse button. And now you see I've got these two pieces selected separately. Now we're not talking about copying and pasting, but if we were, you can see here if I say copy, which I just did up here in the ribbon, put my cursor down here and paste it, I have both of those pieces that I copied now pasted into my document. All right, the next method is the Control A. This is the last one, and this is very powerful. If you're instructed or you wish to do some sort of formatting to an entire document, what we can do is just hold the Control button and click and press the A key, and then release the Control button, and I've got the entire document selected. So let's say that I want the entire document to be 12 point, and now I can just change that to 12 point, and the entire document will change to 12 point. Now, one thing you might notice is that when I did Control A, it did not affect the header. This only affects the body itself, and not the header. If there were pictures in here, it would have also selected the pictures as well, everything inside the body of this document. That also, by the way, is very nice on some web pages when you want to select everything on a web page. Having mentioned that, let me go to the next slide, the last slide, and I did drop in here an article that you can find on the web, 15 ways to select text in a Word document. This is not my article. This was written by Susan Harkins, and Susan gave us 15 ways, not 7 ways like I just gave you, but this includes some methods that are a little more tricky, but gives you a few more options. But the ones that I gave you, the 7, are the most common ones and the ones that will help you learn some of the techniques quite quickly. And by the way, while I'm here, I might as well just show you, if I hit Control A in this document, I've also selected this entire web page now. All right, well, that's the end of this session now, so I'll go ahead and cut it off here, and thank you for watching.